This conference will now be recorded.
All right, as always, everything we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. So let's talk about what we got going on this afternoon so far. All right, so first off is AMRN. So this is an interesting one because we have a whole bunch of things that are going on, and there's really some that kind of outweigh others. So basically, what happened this morning is that we knew that the stock needed to pull down to about 1550 before it went anywhere. Okay, so we ended up getting to our 1550, and then nothing happened, but it just got continuously bullied over and over and over again. We got one really good trigger that came in at that 15 level, and it pulled up just a little bit, about 25 cents, and the bullying continued all the way down. So first thing that happened was we got great prints on the bid side at 14. Second thing that happened on the way back up to 14, we got even better ask prints that came in, and then as it came back down, we got even more bid prints at that 14 level. So one thing that we have to understand is that from yesterday, from that 17 level, there has been pretty much nothing but selling. All right. So we talked about this yesterday in our traders exchange. Now today, was I looking for the pullback as a day trader? Absolutely. But if you're looking for this move, the overall move is certainly down. But as of this moment, we still need to satisfy the selling that we had at that 17 level before for them to be able to build their big enough position to really bring this thing back. So even though the 14 level is showing us without a shadow of a doubt that it's looking to go back down, we're still going to be looking for this overall move to get back up here to that 17 level and above that 17 level. That's where the 18 price target comes in for them to be able to make their, to get their position and make that money. All right. So overall, usually our pull-up has to happen before the pull-up has to happen before the overall move. And that's why I'm still looking for this thing before we end up breaking below that 14 level to get back up above that 17. So if we look at it right now, it's absolute garbage. There's just nothing here. Now, we had great buy prints that came in at 1550 that tell us that we need the stock to come down to basically about the 15 level, which it pretty much did. But just not much that's really going on there at all. So we're going to keep this on our side list for the afternoon. But that's the story. That's exactly what the stock has told us, and that's what we're going to be going with. All right, so let's go to PCG. PCG, absolutely wonderful stock today, and if it ever will come up, we will talk about it. All right, so with PCG, so we talked about this morning how we had we had great selling as the stock was coming back down overall, but we still had those ask prints at 27 and 28 that the stock needed to go up above. We can see it hit 29. I mean, this stock was almost like clockwork today. We focused on AMRN and class, but you know what? PCG was the stock to look at. So we ended up coming back up to that 29 level. We ended up getting a trigger back down, and it just has not shown anything but the fact that it needed to come down since then. So we know at 25, I put it out there. We had some really great selling that came in at that 25 level. We ended up pulling up, about 25 cents, give or take, somewhere right in that area. And then we just got that huge move to the downside. But at the same time, is 25 cents enough of a pull up before we get a move like that? Not really. So the trigger itself made it so you're able to take, you definitely could take that trade, but we still need to get back up and kind of satisfy things. So it came back all the way up to that 26 level. And overall, we have beautiful selling at 23. So I'm expecting this to come back down and at least test that double bottom coming into the afternoon. PCG is by far my favorite stock that we have so far this afternoon. All right. Coming over to the rest of the stocks that we had on our list, we had, for some reason, okay, here we go. All right, so we had M. Now, M, I did not get to look at once. Unfortunately, M, I just wasn't able to. Now, did I think it was going to be able to stay back up? I really didn't. We had good prints that came in at that 36 level, ended up pulling back underneath and, made a nice run up to that 37, 31. Now, I don't know what happened to bring it back down. I know we had a few selling prints a little bit earlier this morning, but you know what? There was no way in the world that I expected this thing to continue up. I mean, it's just, I know I made a joke this morning that a big part of a store being able to make money is people in them. And I know someone had said, and where they live, that Macy's is usually packed, which that's, you know what? Unfortunately, I only live in one spot, but I can tell you in Long Island, New York, Macy's is not a place that most people go, and it looks like that ended up happening. So $3.71 move. This was a monster move today based off of what Macy's usually does. Unfortunately, I just don't really know the story. So coming back down into that 34 level, My prints don't let me go, much go back towards that 34. But I can tell you one thing: from what I see right now, there's definitely selling underneath. Do I expect much more of a move in this today at all? No. I mean, it's coming down to 35,000 shares per minute. Overall, beautiful. I mean, phenomenal volume: 19 million shares compared to the 8 million, that usually trade. So about double the movement. It's over double the range, and that's why I really have a hard time expecting this to go anywhere else today. I mean, can anything happen? Yeah, of course it can, but I don't really see it, especially because it's just been trading extremely consolidated. Just too hard of a trade for me to really expect much of this afternoon. And then coming in CGC. So CGC is another one I just did not really get to look at today. We had that selling that came in, earlier this morning during our meeting. We ended up pulling up great based off of all the selling that we had there, and then it looks like that we did get some overall great prints. Once again, I don't want to tell you guys anything that I don't know, and I don't know. I have no idea what the story behind this is. Obviously, the story is down. Overall, that's from what's happened, but I don't really know what the prints that were coming back in there. So we're going to have to go back into the chat room and kind of find that out. I tried looking back, but it just doesn't go back far enough. So at 33, an ask print, I mean, there's just nothing that I saw that really gave us much. 33 did have selling in it, though. There was a few different times that we're seeing that we had bid selling come in. 33.50 had the same exact thing. So between 34, actually, I can see some more. 34 is showing us selling as well. So 34, 33, and 34, 33.50, and 33 all have selling prints that came in on that bid side. So this is something we're going to keep on our list for this afternoon because it's basically just showing us more and more selling. So I do like what I see going on there. Based off of the prints, that we have from up to that point. Coming to this double bottom, obviously 32.50 is going to be a very important spot for us to get some more new information to tell if we're going to be able to go lower. It's only $4.50, and I say only in a way that it usually trades $4. So if you look at the volume's 3 times. No, actually it's almost that average volume. Excuse me. So 5 million. So usually it trades about 13.9 million. So it's about average coming in, and it's a little bit overboard. So coming to that 32.50 is going to be a big deal. Now the 33.50 and the 34 looks like we did not pull back from. So this might be a really nice stock to look for that pull up based off the fact of its range being a little bit overextended. So that's something that I'm going to be looking. I'm going to put a little up arrow there, and keep in mind this is all based off. I just went through the prints very quickly to see, but it looks like coming to this 32.50, we could get a nice little pull up to come back and satisfy some of those prints that we have in there that it looks like it did not. And I have one stock that I'm going to be looking at this afternoon that's on our side list, and it's ANY. And the reason I'm going to be looking at it and the reason it's on our side list, this is what I'm talking about, a stock holding, one of these cheaper stocks. So you can see as it ran up, that's great and all, but if you look at the bottom of where the consolidation, the top of the consolidation, we definitely have lower highs, but if we're getting higher lows. So it's staying in this consolidation pretty well. Do I expect much out of it? No, it's trading 11,000 shares. I really don't expect anything out of it. But if we were to get some volume that starts pumping in, give us a trigger back up, that is certainly a trade that I would take, especially on one of these cheaper stocks. They pretty much all trade in a very similar way. When we get it's a stock from $2 that pumps up to $4. The volume's great in the beginning, but you can see when volume dies and a stock still holds, that's something that we definitely have to keep in mind. That's just the one variable that I'm even looking at it for. Overall, do we have prints at 3? Looks like it. That we have some selling coming back in. Yeah, there's a few prints at 4 on the ask side of things. So overall, the thing with these stocks, with these cheaper stocks, is you cannot always, completely rely in the story. A lot of times these things kind of have that one and done type mentality. They get their 5 minutes of fame, and we just don't see them end up coming back. But it's just something that I still am going to be looking at this afternoon. All right, let's take a look at our scanners. From what I saw before, I didn't really see anything that I was really that happy about. So NE, we've already talked about. TAHO, absolutely nothing I would ever look at. PDD, it has 20 million shares. And this is one, it's not terrible. It really isn't. But my biggest concern with it is just the way that the volume gets way too sporadic. We have some prints that came in at that 19 level on the bid side of things. So after a little bit of a pull up, 1873 for a quick trade, it certainly looks like it's possible based off the buying that we had above that 19 level, but that selling at 19 certainly looks like it wants to pull back a little bit. This is not This is on the bottom of my list. All right, so I'm going to put this on our afternoon list, but it's really at the bottom, just based off of how sporadic the volume gets. So we have overall 30,000 shares that it's trading per minute, but look at this. I don't like trading stocks that have inconsistent volume, because what ends up happening, anything could happen. That's really at the end of the day. But at the same time, they do, it's everything's going to follow its prints. It's just a matter of how they go about it. And when we have this sporadic volume, it's not very pretty the way that these stocks end up moving. All right, let's move over to our loser side of things. We have a whole bunch of stocks, but there's just not, like I said, just not much out there that I really like too much. BCG, obviously my favorite, as I said before. We have SWCH 5 million, Switch. Which it's just too sporadic. Yeah, big volume spikes come in. There's just nothing that I would ever even pay attention to. And that pretty much looks like it there. So let's talk about Apple for a second, and let's actually forget Apple. Let's talk about SQ for a second. So SQ big selling at that 69 level. This thing does not stand a chance. SQ is going on our list. Now today it is at $4.47. It's a bit overextended and volume is down, but I'm telling you, we have huge selling in it. So is it going to pull up more again? Probably, more than likely, that's what we're going to end up seeing. But this stock has to get down to about 65, okay? No, to a very high percentage, okay? So we're just continuously seeing selling and selling and selling and selling and selling and selling and selling coming into this. So based off of that, I mean, this is just, an absolutely phenomenal short trade. But it's, based off these prints that we just got at 69 first, going to need that pull up before we end up coming back down. And then Apple is just getting hammered. 185, the amount of selling that's coming into this, 185 is almost, an extremely conservative level to be looking for this thing to go, because it's getting hammered with selling. And that's pretty much a lot of what we're seeing going out there on our everyday stocks. There's more room to go based off the amount of selling that we see. This whole move towards that downside is not over, okay, on the overall market side of things. Now, I know before, I'm sure the market's down a little bit more than we were talking about before, but I was pretty shocked to see that the market was only down about 100 points before, based off of some of these huge stocks. Usually Apple's a very good indication. So based off the fact that Apple, I'm sure the market is going to end up catching up. CGC, let's just go to for a second, because I know that's on our list coming in for the meeting. I didn't see anything really great. The one print at 32.50. So once again, there's some prints that from what I saw before that were not satisfied. Keep in mind, once we kind of finish up with this, a trigger up is certainly going to be looking for that pull up. Overall, certainly down though. All right, guys. Anything else out there that I missed? Anything else going on? Pretty much now 250. Okay, that makes sense. I would have expected at least that based off of what we're seeing. All right, so we got some really good stuff to look for in the afternoon. This is the setups that we have going on are probably some of the best ones that we've seen in at least the past week or so. So I'm definitely excited about that. AMD sliding. AMD sliding. I'm not sure what that means. AMD, you got to remember, has huge sell prints at that 20 level and huge sell prints at that 19 and sell prints down at that 1650. So overall, this thing really is way higher than it should be based off of what I'm looking for. So I don't really see sliding. I see great volume pushing this thing down right now, and it looks like a lot of selling coming back into there. And anything in HEAR, let's take a look. All right, so HER, I just can't get behind. Okay, you can see it hasn't even traded 1 million shares yet. The overall, it's got a great trend towards the downside, but it just got some volume coming back into towards that 14 level. Just no real prints, nothing that I personally would ever be trading or looking at. There's just better money to be making at somewhere. Should have looked at it all. There we go, David. All right, guys. Remember, class will begin at 3 p.m. I'll be in here until then. I'll talk to everyone in the chat room, and happy trading.